is.
Okay. You should be good. Let me go ahead and share this out.
Activist.
Tornado.
It's like why everyone hated the Patriots when they won like six Super
Hey,
Bowls.
Tornado, do you have an X account or no?
Yeah, he did. Big Balls
Nelson,
Berto.
how about you share this and tag him so I don't have him on here. Yeah, yeah. That's how I treat Instagram.
How do you spell yours? Big Balls like.
What up, not your mother? How you doing, bro? Thanks for coming through, man. How was your Thanksgiving? Was it good? You eat some food? You chill? I had a great Thanksgiving, man. It was awesome, mainly because I don't have to work. Anytime I don't have to work, it's a great day. I can literally sit at home and stare at four walls, and I'm happy. Some people are like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man? We got to drink, have a good time." Like, fuck that. You gotta think, not your mother. I'm 36 years old. By the time I was 25, I've traveled the world. You know, never been married, but been in relationships. I've been to all sorts of clubs, all sorts of strip clubs. I've been to a strip club in Kentucky where bitches had no teeth and pregnant dancing on the stage. But I also been to one of the best strip clubs in Alaska that has some of the most beautiful women I've seen in my life. So, you just don't know what you're gonna get.
That's what the
Nothing's
whorehouse
in
in
here.
Germany was like.
Just work and more work. Hey, sometimes it's season of work, like it has been for Nelson. I've been there. It's not fun, but it's got to get done. I just told my barber this Wednesday when I get a haircut. His dad gave him and his sister their restaurant to take over so he can retire, and now he only cuts hair Wednesdays or Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays. But he's like, man, I've been working my ass off. I ask him, are you making money? He's like, yes. I'm like, dude, you're 25 years old. You ain't got no kids. You ain't got no wife. If you got to work 18 hours a day, do it now. Because when you get older, it's going to be way harder for you to do that without missing time with your family. So get that shit knocked out, man. There's a season for everything in life. And right now seems to be the season for you for working your ass off.
Well, that's because I need the money because of my wife's migraines and stuff, and then with our chest shit now, like yeah.
Did you share that shit on X here? No, you're good, bro. Well, we want to get your, because you're a very special guest. I'll wait till we do our intros. I'm excited. We're international, baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fuck no. As a matter of fact, it counts more because when you were 10 years old, gaming your little heart's content away, I was still in my daddy's ball sack. You know what I mean? Oh, Nelson's here. He's here. He's right here. He was talking about how his wife's migraines and stuff, so he's had to work a lot more. Yeah. Dude, I was born in 88. Well, there was
Bro,
a
he
lot.
played
Well,
on the ColecoVision.
I know, but wait. I want to, cause don't say anything else, cause I want to ask you about that because I got some comparison questions that I want to do for you or ask you is specifically, that time, cause you're aware. Like a lot of us don't get our memory of how far we can remember back to we're at least 4, 5, 6 years old, right? More commonly, it's 5 years old. Usually, that's the furthest back you can remember. But by the time that you were 10, for example, you were already in deep in the video game, like the video game industry was in deep. I mean, around that time, weren't they having their first little major financial problems?
Yeah, he had a Master System. I was like, bro, I didn't see one of those until I seen it in fucking like an antique shop.
Damn.
That's one of the reasons Genesis did so good. They had fucking EA, and they had to, yeah. NHL was fucking the best. NHL game is still '94, and we're fucking 30 years later.
What's up, Birdie Love? How you doing? Welcome. I think this is maybe one of the first times you've come to the channel. Thank you for coming in. And yeah, I said the same thing for Horizon Zero Dawn. This is mainly for the people who haven't played it before. I mean, I got it for the $10 upgrade because I'm a huge Horizon lover, but not everybody's like me. But sorry to cut you off, Tornado. Sorry to cut you off, Nelson. Let's get this show on the road. And today is going to be a very special day for two reasons. First, we have a special guest, and secondly, Mr. Nelson Gaming Culture himself will be keeping the pace of the show, y'all. So I'm just going to do this introduction real quick and kind of introduce everybody, and then after that, Mr. Nelson Gaming Culture will be the head coach and running this game tonight or today for Mr. Tornado, our special guest. It will be tonight. So let's get introductions out of the way. I am of course your co-host Will777JP, and we have Mr. Nelson Gaming Culture, and our special guest of the evening for him is Mr. Tornado's crew. Now, Mr. Tornado, thank you. Welcome to the show. Like I've told the people here before on the show, we will make adjustments based on who wants to come on. If you can't make it during our Sunday evenings, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, we can make adjustments for you. And it just happened that it worked out for us today on this Friday. It's 8 o'clock your time, 8 p.m. your time. It's 1 o'clock our time, Nelson and I are off today because of the holidays. But please tell us a little bit. You're new here to the channel, but you're not new to podcasting. You're not new on YouTube. You've been around the block. You've been gaming, like people have heard so far, 46 years. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're gaming on, what you've been gaming on. The floor is yours. What part of South America? Oh, okay.
Sounds like fine bitches.
So were you born in where you're at now, or were you born in South America? Okay. Oh shit. Hold up, hold up. They can only hear me. Yeah, no, that's odd. Nelson, say something.
Maybe. Can you hear me?
I hope they can hear us. Nelson, say say hi to the people real quick. So
I
make sure
am
they can hear
saying
you.
hi.
Can y'all hear Nelson? Oh, they're saying now they can hear you. Can you hear Tornado? He's the one with the Holland accent. Well, they can hear us. So sorry about that here, Tornado. What are you gaming on right now? Okay, wait, hold on. They're saying they can't hear you now. They can hear Nelson, they can't hear you. So that's simple. That means
Since you got your pro, did you? I bet you it defaulted back to don't share your voice.
yeah, probably. Yeah. Well,
It's
I will say
going into the chat settings and then go to. Hang on, let me.
while these guys are figuring that out real quick, let me tell you that I lied to you guys. I am a fucking liar. I told you guys I wasn't gonna buy no more video games, and what I've been doing, I've been buying fucking video games. Oh god, I'm disgusted with myself.
Found
But
it.
we'll get into that in a little bit. What about
Yeah,
you,
found
Tornado? Can you guys hear
Start calling
Tornado
him
now?
Will Spencer.
I think they can hear me now. Yeah, I hope so. I kind of hope they do though. I
We'll
sorted it
see.
out.
There's
Let's
about a
see.
20-second delay from when they hear us to when we see their chat. So let's see what they say.
Okay.
Yeah, now they can hear you. Perfect.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
So let's
It's the
bring this
setting
back
on the-
since they
on the
didn't hear
phone.
shit from you. Let's tell them real quick
No worries.
where you came
We're gonna
from,
go back.
where you
Yeah,
came
so
from,
I'm,
all that.
My parents are basically were from South America. Like I said, a neighboring country from Brazil. I was born in Holland. When they immigrated over here. Man, heck. Like I said, I have no brothers and sisters, which I kind of feel sad about. But hey, it is what it is. Lots of friends, lots of different cultures that I had to experience, which is a good thing. Travel the world, at least half of it, mostly in Europe. Visit South America, which is funny enough. It's on the bucket list, and the States, and countries like New Zealand and whatnot. Those are the countries on the list that I'm like, man, I would love to see that and see how things go over there, But it's on the list. the question you asked me last was what is gaming right now? Yeah, funnily enough, I'm on a pro playing GTA 5, so there's that.
You were one of the first adopters for the Pro, right? You got a day one.
Yeah, I got a day invitation. I put the money down, and keep in mind, I'm in the Euro territory, yeah, so I paid the most out of everyone. But I didn't even flinch or even think about it. I was like, yo, I'm dropping the money down. I'm getting one with a disk drive and a stand, mind you. So we're talking 799 euros, my currency, right? 120 for the drive, and another additional 30 for the stand, right, folks? Brand new, eh? And keep in mind, if I had the chance to buy that one when these weren't showing up, I was going to go for the 1,099 euro version, right? The 30th anniversary Pro edition, if I could get my hands on it. I had the money lined up for it, eh? But unfortunately, it slipped out of my hands, you could say. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not unhappy with the system, but I'd rather have that one instead of the one that I had now. But that's a personal thingy from my end, I guess.
Wait, say that again. You'd rather have which one?
3 Pro edition. If it were up to me, and like I said, I had the money lined up for it. I had 1,500 large ones, my guy, and it only costed 1,099 euros. I found out later. Hey, if I had a chance to buy it, believe me, I would have clicked it, bought it, opened it up, and fucking set it up and play with it. As intended, eh?
Well,
I swear to God.
See, and let me just bump in there
No
real quick.
scalping, on my end. No
Birdie love, and some people, they like I would never buy from scalper. Nelson, I don't think Nelson will ever buy from a scalper.
Nope.
Hero never
Nope.
either. But that's the difference between some people and others. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason I won't buy from scalpers may be different than Hero or Tornado, or maybe different than Nelson. But at the end of the day, it's like this is it's a capitalist country here in America. It's a capitalist most parts of the world. And that's just how it is. The value of something is extremely high because of the want. And unfortunately for us PlayStation gamers, PlayStation has been on such a roll that people want what they have to put out no matter what, basically. Like for me, the Pro was too expensive, but for others, and the numbers speak for themselves. They're selling more PS5 Pros than they sold PS4 Pros. But sorry to cut you off, Tornado.
No worries.
And probably half the people that got a PS5 paid more for that goddamn PS5 than the Pro cost too.
Yeah, true.
Facts.
Oh, especially when it came out.
They spent in the time when the pandemic was around. People spend between $1,500 to $3,000, folks.
Bro,
let that sink in.
And
for
even
a base PS5,
even
Not
regular PS5 purchases, we were also getting scalped. Like when I bought my PS5, it was a bundle from GameStop. So I had to pay $800 and I got my PS5 Pro. I got an extra controller. I got the Spider-Man games. I got like a $20 gift card. I got the camera, which I didn't really want. I got the DualSense charging station, which I did want.
Yeah.
But it was the only thing I can get after like 2 weeks of not being able to get a PS5. So everybody was quote unquote scalping us, except that the retailer scalped us in a different way by giving us more. So but that was okay, but that's how hot that thing was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember a time, I was actually lucky though, even though I didn't got it on day 5, like 4 years ago. I was able to get it on February of 2021, right? Just a couple of months after the launch from 2020 November. So I put myself at a store on the list, and I was still able to get it for $4.99, right? With no stuff bundled in and whatnot. That was the disc version, right? In my currency, 499 euros. And I paid less because they upped the price, right?
Yeah.
Then it became 549 in my currency.
Yeah.
So I was lucky. So it paid off to be like a semi-day person, you could say. And I know what Retro is going to say. I know he's also in this Discord. He always said, like, you're never going to be a day one. And I still have that argument with him every now and then, but I argue. I still have the old-fashioned model with the big heat sinks, so I count myself as a day one person. The only difference is I didn't get it on day one. I still have it from the same batch, though, what they produced. That's how I see it. And sure enough, he has a point, though. I didn't get it on day one. I'll give him that. But the Pro, I got that one on day one.
Well, the Pro was more easier to get. It wasn't
easier to get.
It wasn't the item like the PS5 generation. Because, only, 15-20% of people.
He had the one X's coming out, and then the silicon shortage. I mean, shit, the easiest, actually, the PS4 was harder to get during the holidays that year than the Series S. But everything was hard.
Facts.
Nintendo, I paid $290 for a used Switch because you couldn't get a new one.
It was that difficult, man. Everything was pretty much sold out.
They
or
were
you had
selling
to,
PS4
nuts, man.
regular 1 terabyte for $290 at GameStop. I'm like, a new Pro with 1 terabyte's $300 brand new, but there ain't none.
Yeah,
Like, you
that's the whole
cocksuckers.
problem. They knew what they were doing, man. They knew what they were doing. It's that simple, and they were smart though. But hey, anyway, going back off, and I know the introduction's already passed, but from the path that I took from where I was, right, ending up with PlayStation wasn't a direct path though. I was kind of like a platform nomad, you know, at the time when Sega was pretty much, I'd say, in the console space, right, going out of business, because they were still around as a software company, but it wasn't the same, you know. So you had to find a platform after that, and sure, it might not shock a lot of people, you know. The first platform that I kind of gave a chance at first was PlayStation, right? That was the first one that I jumped, mainly because of the strength of Gran Turismo, which I still play, by the way, to this day.
Dude, I just played Gran Turismo for the first time last night, and since it came out, since 2022, and holy shit, does that fucking game look incredible! I want to check it out on the VR. Wow, does it look amazing?
Man, you'll be in for a treat, because I have the PSVR 2 myself as well, and let me tell you this: what they've done, you wouldn't be able to experience it from the first time, right? But if you've been playing this VR 2 on the base PS5, right? And you see it now with the updated reprojection that they've done with the update. Now, for you of course, you jumped in straight away, so you wouldn't be able to tell. But man, the difference is night and day, though, what they've done on that game.
Yeah.
Jesus
hey,
Christ.
Birdie here, and this, I want to ask you guys this, because I've also heard this before, but now that it's being brought up on the show and we have a few people, thank you guys all for tuning in to the channel today to hear us out. So chat, please also be part of this question I'm going to ask, because I'm interested. Birdie said, and I've heard this before, so this is not anything new. Birdie said, speaking of the PS5, I didn't, meaning I didn't buy the PS5. I waited. I never buy on the first year because of high price and because of design flaw risk. I usually wait 2 years before I buy the next gen, but that is just how I do. So Birdie brought up a good point, because I've also heard that, and in specific, other type of different things. Like I heard that with cell phones.
You heard that. That's a fact.
Well, it's never happened to me. That's why I'm bringing it up, because it's never happened to me, and I can only go based on my experience.
I was gonna say,
but
it's all consoles. Usually, the average for year one consoles for a failure is 3 to 4%, and after the first year, it's under 1%.
Okay, so the question is to the chat: have you ever had any console, or just anything in general that you purchased, TV, freaking cell phone, I don't know, toaster, that you got the very first model and it broke on you because of the failure rate? And the other thing I want to say before I pass it all to you guys is the only thing that doesn't track with what Birdie said is the pricing. Normally, yes, pricing goes down, but this generation has been the opposite, where pricing kind of has went up. Not for us in America with the PS5, but normally we start to get in Europe.
It has gotten up because they've reduced the cost of material, but the cost of material keeps going up.
Yeah, but
that's over here in Europe. They charge us, like I said, an additional 50 on top of the price what the PS5 Slim now costs. Right? It was $499 if you go off the disc version. That's now $549, and the digital one that they had for $399 was now $449. Right? It's just an additional 50 that they added on top.
Yes. And what Nelson is saying is correct. What Nelson is saying is 100% fact. The cost of goods or the materials has went down, but yet we're still getting charged the same. And we know this is a fact because, like we said on last week's show,
no, they've gone up.
How is PlayStation doing triple? How is PlayStation doing triple profit from hardware if the cost has went up?
The Pro.
I'd say the Pro.
So you're telling me maybe 4 years later, the cost has still, or it hasn't went down at all?
It's been about the same. Well, they've reduced stuff, but yeah,
So
it's been about the same.
let me speak from my experience real quick because I'm in
Mm-hmm.
retail and I am the manager. So my job is to manage the retail space that we own. And what I do is I manage the inventory. That's my number one job. Make sure we have enough product for our customers. And I deal with brands such as DeWalt, German brands such as Flex. I mean, all sorts of
Mm-hmm.
brands from all over the world in order to satiate our customers' appetite in the type of equipment that they want to buy. And
Mm-hmm.
we before 2020, I increased price at my location about 5% of the items once a year. And it usually happened in the beginning of the year, right around between January or
Mm-hmm.
December and March. Generally, right in line with the fiscal year end of most companies. Most companies' fiscal year starts around March or April, and that's when
Yeah,
I saw
March,
that
April,
price
indeed.
increase. And it was about 5% of the items, which was the standard for the previous 10, 15 years. After COVID, that 5% of items that I increased price to went up to about 25%. And the amount of money that got increased on these items was roughly between 10 and 30%. Of course, some of the smaller dollar value items like $5, they would go up to, the higher end of 30%. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
big price items only went up about 10%. But if you're speaking of a $500 item, 10% increase, that's a nice amount. But what I've seen at my retail location and others that I've worked with and I've communicated with, and also friends and colleagues that do the same type of job that I do, but in different industries,
Mm-hmm.
that has settled and even gone down. So we're now starting, like, for example, right now it's the end of the year for me. We are expecting to only increase pricing from the 5% we used to do it before 2020. It went up to 20%. Now it's starting to go
Yeah, yeah.
down. And this year we're expecting to do a 5% or an increase on 5% of the items. And that increase should only be between 3 and 7%. So things have been getting back to normal as of 2022, 2023. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to believe that PlayStation has also seen a similar trend. Now, they do deal with electronics and technology, which is something that we don't deal with quite as much, but we still deal with materials. And I'm still like one of my biggest problems in 2022 was getting enough batteries, enough lithium for us
Mm-hmm.
to sell these products for all sorts of power machines. That has went away completely. The only problem that we're seeing is companies that were backed up during the COVID time, meaning that they shut down, they changed their hours, a lot of people did, or they just couldn't get the
Mm-hmm.
materials. Those companies are still having a hard time catching up to the demand, even 3 years later. That's the only trouble that I'm seeing. So for PlayStation, me taking all my experience, all the conversations that I've had with numerous other vendors, numerous other, manufacturers,
Mm-hmm.
it is hard for me to believe that PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo or any of these technological companies are still seeing increase in pricing or pricing not going down a big percentage. I just don't see it happening. I think things are in the retail space are going back to normal. Now that doesn't mean that if you used to pay, for example, $50 for an item in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and that cost went from $50 to $70 in 2020 and upwards, it doesn't mean that it's going to go back down to $50. What it means is that it's not going to jump up to $100 at the same speed it went up from $50 to $70. That's all that means. You'll never see those
Mm-hmm.
prices go down again, even if the materials are cheaper or the materials are to the low that they were 4 years ago. It's just not going to happen. Companies ain't going to give up that free money when you, not free money, but that additional money once they've gotten their customer base
Yeah, the
accustomed
additional
to
profit, you
paying.
could say.
Exactly. But what does that happen is that the
Mm.
increase in pricing for the customer isn't going to go up as fast as it did during that COVID. I call it the COVID years, but it was between 2020 to now. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
go as fast. You're still going to see small increases here and there, but that's just so they can keep their percentage of profit the same.
True, true. I don't want to make this too long, actually. Not to dwell on that, but you bring up an interesting point saying about the price, right? I heard when the PS5 Pro was still something that needed to come out, right, on the 7th of November. All I heard was like, price this, price that. And I'm like, wait a minute. Aren't you guys interested in what it can offer you? Because it's a weird analogy I'm going to use, right? I remember a time, and it's nuts that I talk about that. I'm not a millionaire. Let's put that straight. But even I had paid attention to that when Volkswagen announced that they were buying the Bugatti brand, right? They bought the whole brand and everything, lock, stock, and barrel. And they announced I believe in 2003, we need to wind the clock back, eh? And they released the car in 2005. They said they were going to make an expensive Bugatti. They called it the Veyron. It was brand new back in the day. And they said they were going to be the first to sell a supercar or hypercar, whatever you want to call it, for $1 million. And people were like, man, that's too expensive. There's no market for that. Lo and behold, they brought out the car. The damn thing sold out. And instantly a new market was created, right?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say here.
What year was that? What year was that?
2005.
Yes.
That was the first time that they brought out the Bugatti Veyron. Why am I bringing this up? I'm comparing this to a PS5 Pro, and that might be nuts, but hear me out on this one. Sony is trying to do the same thing what Bugatti has done back then with the backing of Volkswagen, right? They're like, you know what? We're going to offer something, a high-end product on a high-end market with visuals and whatnot at at least what we feel like is a normal price, right? And they were like, you know what? Let's charge 600-700, or in my case, €800, and you got a system, or $799 because of the psyche behind it, right?
What's the problem?
And people were like, yo, it's expensive, this and that, and then all of a sudden we hear like, oh, it actually sold pretty well.
Yeah.
If we have to believe Hiroki Totoki, right?
Exactly.
What I'm trying to say is there is a market for everything. If there's people want something. How can I say that best? They want something to satisfy that itch, that something that's above the rest, you know.
Yeah.
There are people that are willing to put the money down for it, and if it's 700, 10,000, or $1 million for a supercar, people will buy it.
Yeah.
You saw what happened after the Bugatti Veyron, eh? All the other goddamn fucking brands stepped in. Nobody expensive. People were like, hey, you got an offering? Because I want something similar like the other one. And Koenigsegg, Ferrari, and Porsche, they were all more than happy to oblige that demand. Right?
Yeah. And hey, welcome, guys. Henzu RPG, you latecomers. We have Tornado speaking,
I bet you nobody's, when that 5090 comes out for fucking over $2,000,
I was going to say, nobody's
for? Why are we making this?
Nobody's going to complain about the price for the goddamn 5090 because people are like, hey, let me upgrade my PC. And
people are like, who wants to buy my 30 or 4080? I'm getting that bitch.
Exactly. Then you're going to see a lot of 4080s, 4090s on sale so they can get the goddamn fucking 5090 or 5080 or whatever, you know, so they can move on. You got people that have enough money. Like I said, there's a market for everything. You don't hear it in the PC space like, oh, it's too expensive. No, you don't hear that shit. All you hear is like, let me see if I can trade something in or get some money here. Or put one of my bitches on the corner to get some extra money. That's the shit that you hear. And like, you know what? Now I'm able to afford it. I don't hear bullshit about price this and price that. Fuck that. Sorry about that, though. Shit, man.
You're good.
This is bullshit.
Yes, welcome to all you guys that came late. Man. So we have Henzo RPG. Thank y'all for showing up. And our special guest is Tornado Screw. You guys know him. He's on our Discord.
Yep.
Some of y'all know him from Thrifty's podcast. Some of y'all know him from Nelson and Tornado on podcast years ago.
Yep.
So he's not new to this, and we're so happy to have him because he lives in Holland and Europe, and he's able to speak from his experiences from over there.
Yeah.
Where most of the time
and
perspectives, exactly.
Yeah.
So most of the time we only get to hear stuff from this side of the pond in America. But we were just talking about PlayStation, the cost. Birdie asked a question about how he waits, or she, I don't know, they wait about 2 years till they buy a new console because of the risk in getting a faulty one within that first year.
I wanted to answer that. Indeed, it's not like a question to me, but when they say faulty, I'm like,
electronics.
I know, but if I take my experience, everyone's mileage may vary. I had the base PS5 like the first day I had it in 2021 in February, right? And I had it standing upright, and I still have it working to this day. I bought a Pro on the 7th of November.
Most people do, but the odds are still a lot higher.
I know. The odds are a little high, but I don't know if it's luck or whatever.
Xbox 360. Most people had fucking 7 of them.
And that's something I wanted to add as well, because like I said, I was a platform nomad back in the. It's the only console that I can remember that actually broke on me because of the Red Ring of Death. That's the only one.
Get them!
And outside of the PlayStation 3 that I had, I didn't have the Yellow Light of Death though.
I did.
Yeah. I did have one with a model that I bought years later, and I bought now a second one, a big fat one, but outside of that, but then again it was a second hand and new. The only brand new PS3 that I had was the slim version that I had. That was the brand new one that I had, but the older ones, they're prone to go. You could say the Yellow Light of Death problem that they had, but it's few and far between. I mean, the Red Ring of Death, man, that was a lot more though. I think people went to
that was almost 100%. Well, they never actually gave official numbers because most people were fucking sending in so many.
But I think if
Go find your father.
the people, I mean, like you said, people that went to maybe 3 or 4 systems even. I went to 2 of them.
I know a guy who went through 6.
Thanks again.
I mean, add all those numbers up from those people that you know in your circle, right? And begin to count and be like, hey, that doesn't sound good. Or, more importantly, the barometer that I use is the guy on YouTube from iFixit, Steve with the little tear underneath his eye, the guy that fixes the consoles. You can kind of tell, like, okay, which product is prone to break down, right? He always has Xboxes, PlayStations, and Switches that broke down, right? Amount of broken machines that are on there, it kind of gives you a little bit of a telltale sign, like, hey, what's hot on the market, basically, and it kind of shows you, like, hey, what are people into, pretty much.
Yeah, well, good point, man.
You know what the second highest faulty was for a system? The PS3 at 18%.
There you go. The Yellow Light of Death, then.
Well, Nelson, I think we can say that the introductions are over with. So
yeah,
like I'm saying in the beginning of the show, Nelson is going to be the coach on this podcast. So Nelson, take it away.
Yep.
All right, where do you guys want to start?
That's for you to decide, buddy.
Yeah. Pick the one that you like the best.
Why don't we start with Tekken DLC?
Yeah, that's something that is for me a sore spot though, and I'm a big fan of the franchise, man.
Well, before we get into the Tekken DLC, let's bring up why we're going to talk about the Tekken DLC. So Hero brought up a good point about fighting games and just video games in general, and some of the cost in this DLCs and by DLCs we're not talking about like
season passes and that kind of crap.
Yes, we're talking about everything. I mean, we're talking about skins, levels, just anything like characters.
My God, man.
Mortal Kombat, Tekken are notorious for selling characters. I mean, some of these characters can go up as high as $5, $6, $7, $10, and that's what we're talking about Tekken. So Hero or Tornado. I don't know why I keep calling you Hero. Tornado. Why Tekken in specific? Was that something you wanted to talk about? What is it about Tekken and their cost?
Here's the thing. So I was used to buying a fighting game, all the way back in the day, because I grew up with 2D fighting games, right? I naturally the 3D fighting games, right? And Tekken is the one that stood out for me because I used to play that alongside Virtua Fighter when I was still a Sega fan, and I'm still to this day, right? And Tekken is the one that kind of I'd say been the game that I kind of gravitated the most towards, right? With the fun characters and the storylines that they had, it was the more interesting game, in my opinion. And for those that know the history, it was also made by someone from created the characters for the first 2. If you didn't know, so if I look at what has become from those fighting games, I mean, back in the day, if we're going from PS1, 2, and 3, right? You had like a complete game, everything was on it, all the stages and all the characters and whatnot before download was even a thing, right? It was fantastic. The games were complete, up and running, and you could play. And then Tekken 6 showed up, right? That was one of the first ones that actually had on and stuff, right? That was pretty much the beginning. Then Tekken 7 shows up. You know, more DLC, more characters that you could buy, and all that kind of stuff. But they did it balanced, right? It was well done. Then we come up to Tekken 8, right? And I'm like, what the hell is this? I mean, I turned on the game, and I said a couple of weeks. It's now more than almost 2 months ago, and I see this stage thingy for $4.99 with one character, and I'm like, dude, what the hell are we doing here? Hey,
Yeah.
I'm telling you straight up the truth. I turned that game off, took out the disc, and I went back to Helldivers 2. That's how bad it is for me. I'm like, dude, are you seriously? You're gonna charge me $4.99 for a goddamn fucking 3D stage? Something that should be a requirement in the game. I mean, Dead or Alive had stages too. They didn't make you pay for stages. Shit, man. Not even Street Fighter does that shit. And I'm like, dude, this is unacceptable.
They just resell you the whole game.
Yeah, okay, it's a different story altogether. But
Street
I never
Fighter,
saw
Super Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah,
fucking...
okay. But my point is this: none of those fighting games charge you for a stage. That's my problem that I have. And I'm like, dude, the audacity! What the hell? And for me, it comes hard, eh? I mean, I spend money on a goddamn fucking Ultimate Edition, and don't fall off your chair, people. I bought it for 119 euros and 95 cents, my guy. 120 if I round it up. It's a lot of money, though. Don't even try to convert that to dollars. It'll, like I said, you'll fall off your chair. That's
What is
brand
that? Like
new,
150, 160?
Yeah, something like that. Depending on how the dollar is against the euro, right? But I spent 120 euros brand new for a fucking Tekken 8.
Hero, don't be so hard on yourself, bro. Like I just like I told you guys, some of you guys weren't here. I lied to you. I told you that I was done buying shit this fucking month and this year. And I've been buying shit Black Friday. I'm fucking disgusted with myself. It's just something with gaming, right? I mean, it's just like I would never behave this way financially with anything else. Not with clothes, not with nothing. If I tell myself I'm done, I'm usually done. But hey, Retro, how you doing, bro?
Retro
he said he only hates it because he beats your ass in Tekken. I just bought not the other fighting game, Street Fighter, for $20. So that was a good fucking deal. But anyways, yeah, bro, I agree. It's just the world of microtransaction, man. It's just how it is.
Miserable.
That's why I give Helldivers so much props, because their season pass, but their
in-game credits that you have.
The in-game credits.
You can earn it, you know.
You can earn it. And if you don't want to play an hour to earn the money, you can just buy it for $4. $5, $2. It is extremely affordable.
No one forcing you with a gun on your head. If you have a good skilled team, which I have the fortunate luck that I have a good team around me, you know, with Henzo and Atreyu and Dose, or every now and then my French buddy Mon Ami, as I like to call him, Reverso, you know, it makes it fun. So everything you collect, and even they collect as well, you know, if they get a super credit, you get it too, right?
Yeah.
If you get a sample, you get it too. So it works hand in hand. So if you have a good team around you, you'll be able to go through it in no time, you know. And as I always like to say towards Henzo, these were divers that I've known, you know, I always like to play with him, and we collect stuff, and it just goes, you know. I mean, a couple of hours pass, and without even knowing, you're like, oh shit, we already collected like 50 or 100 super credits, a couple of samples and whatnot. Hey man, we can buy some stuff, you know, and move on to the next one. No, and then there's no time that you need to open up your wallet or whatnot. I mean, it's basically how can I say this best? That's made not with microtransaction at the forefront, right? Which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned, because I see too many games trying to nickel and dime you, man, at the offset. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting.
Well, that's, you know, one of the reasons. Well, not one of the reasons, but one of the best reasons of single player games, and even that's starting to go away. You're seeing that a lot of single player games are now including microtransactions in their shit, and like you said,
cough.
yeah, exactly.
Them, specifically, God, with the Assassin's Creed, what they're trying to pull off with those passes or whatever they're trying to do, it is, like I said, disgusting. Knock that shit off, man.
Exactly.
Like I said, I come from a time, and you might even come from the same time. Well, 10 years after me, but we come from an age where that shit didn't exist in games. And now all of a sudden you're looking at a game and you're like, wait a minute, We didn't
Well,
have this
let's
shit.
talk a little bit about that time. So, like you said, you were born in 69, right? 69?
78, 78.
Oh, 78.
1978. Yeah,
So you were born in 78.
So,
I was born in, me and Nelson were born in 88. So,
okay.
like I asked
10
you in the
years
beginning.
after me.
86.
Oh, yeah, you're old,
86,
Nelson.
okay.
86. So we're born roughly, 2 years apart. You're the only one
Yeah,
that,
it's basically the same time. You
by
could
the
say.
time
Same time frame.
me and Nelson were born, or before we were even conceived,
I had
you
my
were,
big boy underwear on.
Yeah,
by the time
you
got
were-
around.
you were already gaming in the gaming world. I'm sure you played a lot of
Of course.
arcade gaming back then when it was
Oh,
very
yeah,
popular.
yeah, definitely.
So a
over
question
here. Yeah.
that I have for you is, how is this any different than you playing the arcade and having to stick a quarter in every time that you were right about to get to the good part or the end of the story in the game? How is this any different than paying per play than paying for microtransactions?
It different in the sense of like you had to look for the good games, right? Something that was attractive to you. So the games that I usually gravitated to was like the Street Fighter games, the Mortal Kombats, even seen that on the arcade. That was fantastic, that era. Even especially with Sega, they were king of the arcades, Namco. Man, it was the golden age. All kinds of cool stuff. And what I find interesting about the arcade, what maybe a lot of people might not know, the new and advanced tech stuff was always in the arcade, right? That's where the new stuff was shown. And then the question was that going to make its way over to the home console, right, at one point? And that's basically the transition during, I'd say, the PlayStation 1 era and PlayStation 2. Arcades became less and less, right? Because home consoles were getting more advanced than what you had in the arcade. For me, growing up in an era with the arcades, right? It's sad to see that go, because like I said, the new and fantastic games were there. You didn't mind having a few quarters and just putting it in there, as long as the game was good, had a solid gameplay, cool characters, cool music. Even though with the noise around you, but the cabinet always had good sounds. You were standing in front of it and playing with it. You were like, "Yo, this is fantastic. Let me put a couple of more quarters and let me keep playing." You didn't mind spending the money on that because it was a good game. Right? If it was a bad game, you'd stop after maybe 2 or 3 quarters. You'd be like, "Nah, I'm done with this shit. We're going to the next game." Right? You can tell which one was bad or which one was good.
How much would you spend? Let's say your parents took you to the arcade and you're like, we have X amount of time, right? Whatever. I don't know. Maybe they gave you an hour. How much money did you spend per gaming session that you were at the arcade? Like, do you have an idea of what it was roughly?
Oh, I can give you an example. Me and my nephew went to like a carnival, and they had like this Final Fight cabinet. That was the first time that I played that game on an arcade. And at the time, one of those PlayStations cost you 50 cents, right? I think we went through, and that's in guilders, eh? Didn't have euros back then, but let's just say that a guilder is an equivalent of $1, right? And you could put in 50 cents, so that's less than $1. I'd say we spent a good 1.5 hour playing that game, and I'd say we burned through, I'd say per person, me and my nephew, I'd say between 15 to 20 guilders each, just to play the game and finish it, right? We were just trying to figure it out, but it was fucking hard though. But I think you were swarmed by all those characters. Yeah.
Those games were set up where every 3 minutes the average player would have to pump in more coins.
Yeah, and we were pretty much suckered in, but it was fantastic, For me, even though I put so much money into it, it was a fantastic game, The sound and the brutality of it, the how can I say this? The hardcore street vibe of the game. You saw big, bulky, manly characters. You saw female duking it out, fucking each other up, and I'm like, yo, this is the shit, As far as I'm concerned, that's how I saw it, It was.
But speaking of cost, because you just said 20, it was like 25 guild or something like that.
Yeah. Let's say the equivalent of maybe $15, $20, right? Roughly.
Okay, $15-$20. So now when you were a kid, 10 years old, 11, going to the arcade, how much did you spend there? Do you have an idea roughly of what that cost was back then?
If you have to equate it to what it is now, man, it's a lot. Of course, with the inflation and all that kind of stuff, a trip to the arcade now, man, that would set you back 40 to 50 euros.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. So is it more, do you get better value? You purchase the game like Tekken. Let's use American dollars real quick so that people can understand. For us, brand new, or when it came out, it was $70. and let's say you get a season pass, which is what, like 25, $30. So now you're in it for about $100.
Yeah.
Is that more value than going to the arcade, spending $50 for the family member to game for a couple hours?
Yeah, it sure. I mean, you can already tell. Like, if you're going for one game at an arcade cabinet and they already cost you that much money, you already know. Basically, if you buy the game in a home console, you already got the money back. It's that simple. The only problem that I have, it takes away the value when they're trying to sell you another little thingy for $5 or $10. And you're like, wait a minute, I already bought a season pass. Why are you charging me again? That's the whole problem that I have.
I don't even know what are in the season passes. What are they?
Look. Let me take that out of the equation. If you're spending between $70 to $100, right? Let's just say for ease of arguments, you go for the as Retro says it so nicely, the Donkey Dick edition, right? You buy everything with season pass and all. You shouldn't be charged an additional for a goddamn fucking $120 a goddamn game with everything on it.
I agree.
So do not try to nickel and dime me for another $5 or a $10 or $20. Because I'm like, wait a minute, I bought the Donkey Dick edition. What more do you want from me? You know?
Okay, so
Shit,
and I agree, but doesn't that also apply to the PS5 Pro? Don't fuck me over when I'm paying $700 and you don't include a disk drive and the stand. Does that apply the same?
Yes and no. Let me explain that part. Basically, see, like I said, I put the money down without flinching. I'm kind of comparing it to a Bugatti Veyron. I already did that at the beginning of the show.
Yes, you did.
Here's the thing. A lot of people, and we know the numbers, more people buy games digitally. So the argument of not having a disk drive is kind of... but on the other hand, it's not. I mean, the majority of people buy
and if
digital.
You had a Slim, you might already have one.
Exactly. So it's kind of more like an argument for people that are pinching.
But let me butt in real quick.
Penny pinching.
But
basically.
Also, not. I mean, how many PS5 OGs were sold before the Slim came out? 40 million, 50 million, something like that.
Yeah, that was a lot though. The numbers on that is a lot higher. I get that.
So that upgrade is a big jump. They're not PlayStation. The PlayStation knows. For example, this Black Friday, if you're already like me, my subscription doesn't end till tomorrow. So until tomorrow, I do not qualify for the Black Friday 30% off to get the PS Plus Premium for $111. If I bought it today, I would have to pay retail, and it's only for new gamers. So does it feel like PlayStation is fucking their current customer base over the new customer?
That's hard to say though.
Still a while to go before dark.
And I hate to say this, they are a company at the end of the day, right? They're looking to make money to kind of stick around, right?
Keep in mind, they're tripled up in profits in hardware. So the old excuse of, they're not making money in hardware is way different now. So they're making money in hardware. They're making money in software.
They're making money.
They're making a shit ton of money.
Hand over fist, basically. Hand over fist. They're making money.
They had their first price cut.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a price cut. It was a fucking discount that ends in 2 days.
Exactly. It's a Black Friday deal. So this is the first discount that people are seeing on their hardware and software side or whatever they're trying to sell you on a discount, right? Because of Black Friday. And I'd say to those people, if you're looking to jump in, now's the time to do it. After that, you won't see shit from them giving you a handout. You're not going to get it. Sony is like, they're going to give you a big middle finger, and they're like, hey, look, man, buy her shit or get the hell out of here.
Hey, the biggest deal that they have going on right now is that VR. That PSVR 2, bro, for $350? What?
Yeah.
That is a must-buy, y'all.
If you got the money lying around and you're looking to get in, and if you like racing games, for $350, jump in. That's the moment to do it. It's that simple.
Yes.
It is that simple. And especially, and on top of that, I'm also waiting on that Alien Incursion game. If you like shooting games, that's the one to watch out for.
Yeah.
I still need to try that one out. But anyway, long story short, there's some good stuff on that VR too, man. If you have the $350 lying around and you're looking for something fun to play, put your money into that, man. That's a nice return.
Tornado, you own it, right? You own the VR?
Yeah.
Hey, we got to get together and game because I don't have many friends that have the VR. And I've been dying to play some co-op.
One of them, so
Nelson's been working, that's why he hasn't been playing. But yeah, we should definitely hook up and play some games.
Oh yeah.
But let's
Sure.
push it forward a little bit. What was the So we talked a little bit about the microtransactions and the call. Well, Tornado did, and I agree. I don't really have much to add on there. Nelson, do you have anything to add to microtransactions?
That carcass.
No, I mean these games used to cost basically more back then, and you got like 8 to 10 characters. There was no online. There was no fucking all that shit.
It's a whole different time, though. Indeed, it was more complete package, though.
There's more of a game launch today than there was back then, and if you were like it was then, and you released the goddamn Tekken every year, no one would be buying that shit because people just wouldn't buy it like that no more.
I mean, they do for like Madden and 2K and shit.
Yeah, but Fighter's a little different. What are you gonna? Yeah, it's a little different from Madden. Plus, they kind of have to do that for Madden, too.
How about they did... So would it be easier to just put out microtransactions like on Tekken and Fighters? Or just give you what they give you, and then next year release the game again with a couple... Like they do with 2K or Madden, where every year's the same shit, except, now with the Fighters you get more characters. And then the 2026 version, you get more characters. Like that. What do you rather have?
No, because that piss people off more because it would cost you more.
Yeah, exactly. There's just no easy way about this. Look, this is a
what
business.
I do is I actually usually buy Fighters because they go on sale like pretty quickly. I buy them about half off, and then I wait till whatever. See, there's a fighter pack I want, which I don't buy many of those either. I get it like 50% off.
Yeah, and this year the discounts on Fighters has been on digital way more than physical. I mean, I bought
Mortal Kombat's $20 right now.
Yeah, $20. That's why I bought it. I'm not a big fighter guy, but I will be playing the campaign. But yeah, it's normally you start to see the physical price cuts way faster than you do the digital.
Yeah.
I think I bought Street Fighter 5 Ultimate Edition for like $6. It was a couple years old.
Yeah, I was going to say, it surprises me that people buy it's more for like an ease of convenience, but keep in mind, I've always said it before, and I still stand by that. I'd rather have physical, because if they pull off the game for any kind of reason offline, or you don't have a license or whatnot, you own nothing, eh?
Hey, Little Big Planet 3 got taken off last month. The Sega Sonic, which I just bought physical, thanks to you guys letting me know, is getting taken off online next month, or is it next month, December? So every year, as time goes on, we see more and more games getting taken off online where you can't play them. The only way you can play them is if you bought them already. And that's the thing about physical. It's not
a guarantee. You never
and
know
even that, exactly.
Concord,
they took that away, and of course that's different because that's the online multiplayer, but it's just a different world that we live in, and you just have to make sure that you're buying. Like, I'm huge in ownership. That's why I've been telling you guys that if PS6 goes to the all digital route, I'm probably gonna have to reconsider my gaming habits, because ownership is more important to me than gaming itself, because I do not want something that I absolutely love get taken away from me.
I got stacks and stacks of games. I dread the day when the PS6 comes out and there's no disc availability for your PS5 games. I would find that really strange and alienating to me. That's also the point where I'm going to be like, yo, I'm quitting. You can go fuck yourself. I'm going to fishing then. They can go fuck. I'm sorry to say that though, folks. I'm just saying. I'm keeping it real, because at that point, I'm done. If you're not considering me as a customer and give me something that I can put my goddamn funky ass discs in, then we're done. We're done.
I
that
feel
is
the
nuts
same way.
To me, man.
I feel the same way.
Nuts.
No, I haven't really made up my mind. I want to say that I'm gonna quit, but like, I love gaming a lot. I buy games, and it's gonna be a hard crossroad when it does happen. Because look, I work hard for my money.
Easier to go
the West. Yeah, let's actually talk about that, because the West is making it a lot easier. And we wanted to talk about retro gaming a little bit, and the question is it better than modern gaming?
In all fairness, if we look at all of the shit that's happening now, we'll get to that later, the woke part and the microtransactions and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to say yes. More complete, far more fun to play, because the fun factor was there. That's also the important part of the game. It needs to be fun. They didn't have anything to do with political crap and other stuff. They didn't put that in your face. They made sure that when you're in the game, you're away from that, You're in the game. You have that world in front of you and that storyline, and it was fun, right? You were somewhere else. and that's kind of the immersion that I'm missing with games today. I'm actually glad that a game like bring that back. Stellar Blade to a certain degree. Heck, even Space Marine 2. Old, unadulterated, unapologetic fun, right? That's what we're missing in games these days. There's too much of this bullshit pushing around and that kind of crap. But like I said, that's the other topic. I'm going to say yes, man. Retro is the way to go at this point. And Nelson was saying that already. He was, I'd say, that kind of convicted. He was like, yo, if this, I'm going to go full on Nintendo, man. That's how bad things are. If even Nelson is saying that,
Look, there's
I'm
always been gay,
Nintendo.
trans, always people like that worked in the industry, but they were developers. They're not developers anymore. These are fucking activists.
They're activists now. They're trying to push a
message. They don't
message.
give a shit about gaming or whatever.
Exactly.
They wake up fucking thinking about their agenda. They go to sleep with it, and there's nothing in between.
And they're pushing their agenda
It's
at
their
the cost
entire
and the
personality.
expense. Yeah, and their agenda at the expense of the franchises and the games that we love and used to play, or even the older franchises, right? It's not good, man. That shit needs to stop. It's that simple. Shit, man.
Well,
It just needs to stop.
But look, when we look, and I agree with everything you guys are saying, absolutely, 100%. But also, if a studio wants to make something woke, then go ahead and do it. Do your thing. So we, at the same time, cannot be attacking them for it. What we really are pissed off about is when you take an existing IP that we have known and loved, and then you add your bullshit to it. Like, that's the fucking problem. Like, what's that one?
I'm going to use an example here. I dread the day that I find out that Wolverine, who likes Jean Grey, and Nelson said it in a funny, comical way. He takes it. Exactly. I'm gonna cry. I swear to God, for a 46-year-old man that I am, I'm gonna cry in the corner. I'm like, man, what have we gotten into ourselves, man? What is this?
Get ready.
I'm gonna be hurt. I swear to God, man.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt my soul. I swear to God.
And let me answer this question by Birdie Love, and this is a very good question. Birdie, thanks for being here. You've been asking some awesome questions, being part of the chat. But Birdie says, let me ask you this. What's your take on all these retro sellers, content creators, turning game collecting into a new stock trade? Who wants to go first and answer that?
A lot of that has to do with WADA, right?
With what?
WADA's controlling WADA.
What's WADA?
They grade games or whatever,
I'll see you
and they artificially inflate the prices of them.
Well, I think there's two things to that. Is you have the WADA situation, but then you also have just the availability of games and people buying shit up just to resell it later on.
People don't take care of shit.
So now, I think the roots of the question is: should we be mad at others for using an item or a product in the way that it was not intended? Right?
I'm tempted to say yes.
For example, the biggest thing in America right now that the whole world, like, I'm not going to America because if I go there and I walk down the street, I'm going to get killed and shot. It's the whole gun thing, right? We have a huge gun discussion in this country, right? Should be banished? Should we not? It's the same thing with video games. Does it matter if somebody is buying a game just to resell it and not play it? Like, it's an open market. Is that really a problem?
It becomes a problem, and I say this from my perspective. It becomes a problem when it becomes out of your reach, right? I kind of take, let's say, scalpers, for instance, as an example. I mean, if I want to buy something and I already view scalpers as a problem, I have to say yes on this one, to be honest with you, because it is just nuts, man. You want to buy something, and these suckers kind of prevent you from buying that. A lot of it's official
because a WADA will give like a price for, if it's in a decent shape, of much higher than what they really are, and a lot more rarity than it really is.
Yeah, but WADA's grading.
Yeah, I know, but the more you're not going to send a game in to get graded that it's worth fucking $24, but if it's worth $400, you will.
Well, yeah, but then that goes down. Like, I buy a lot of games, as you guys know, and I've been buying a lot of pre-owned stuff, a lot of PS4, PS3, Xbox 360 era stuff, And when I come across an option for like a graded game, I just skip that shit. I just go with the other option. I'll use Deadpool as an example. I have 2 copies of Deadpool. And the first copy I purchased, which I knew nothing about, I paid for it was like $17. It was on a GameStop sale. I'm like, oh, Deadpool, this looks interesting. I'll pick it up. Later on, I found out that Deadpool is selling on the open market for about $50, $60 at that time. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I didn't know. Later on a different sale, it could have been a Black Friday sale or something like that, GameStop had another copy of Deadpool. At this time, they were selling it for $35. I said, for $35, this game is now worth $70. I will buy that. So you have 2 sides of the coin with me. The first game, I bought it because I had general interest in. I was like, yeah, I want to play this PS4 game. I didn't hear much about it. Yeah, let's check it out. $17, why not? The second purchase that I bought, it was literally a financial purchase. Strictly a financial purchase because I already owned the damn game, but because of the value of the game, I decided to buy it. So when I sell it, I'm going to make money on it if it's still the same value when I go to sell it. But the whole WADA situation is with the Deadpool. I can buy a WADA brand new sealed WADA graded Deadpool at a 9.0 for $400. Or I could just buy a
shit.
brand new sealed copy of Deadpool for $150. So the
Yeah,
whole
that kinda-
WADA thing is an if you want. Now with the games that are super, super rare, like what's the one copy you have, Retro or Tornado, from the 90s?
Yeah, the
He's got
for the
Panzer
Sega
Dragoon
set- yeah.
He's got
Panzer
Panzer
Dragoon
Dragoon
Saga.
Saga.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
for a
yeah.
game like Panzer Dragoon, that game
Yep.
they only made what is it, 20,000 of
20,000
them?
copies, I believe, were printed ever.
So-
They
its
have
entire
one in the
existence.
town next to me in a case. I seen it at there yesterday or the other day.
So the value of that game for $20,000, or I mean, only 20,000 were made. That's
Yeah,
strictly
and 9,000 of them were in the U.S. 1,000 of them made it over here where I live in Europe, and the other remaining ones were in Japan, right?
so.
So that's a limited print, man.
Yes, so for that, it's worth the money because there's only 20,000 of them physically. Of course, these developers making it difficult, with their digital games, and there's no digital conservation. They also have to do with this. But it's a fight that us gamers, unfortunately, are going to have to take on because nobody's going to do it for us. And we're going to have developers like Ubisoft who take out a game like not Need, I don't know if they made Need for Speed. I think it was EA who made Need for Speed, who made Need for Speed, and then they took it off the servers, and you can no longer play that game. You can no longer buy it. So then what's that going to do to the physical price of that game? It's going to shoot it up. Just like the Sonic game that I bought. If they don't do shit else with that, and even if they do, people usually like the original of whatever game it is. The price of that Sega game is going to go up because there's just less out there. So for the
It's a
people
limited
out
print.
there, limited print. So for the people out there that are buying and selling games as if it was the stock market, yes, it sucks. As a gamer, I hate it. But as just like a regular person, it's just another item that is limited print, it's limited release, and people are taking advantage of it. And we see that in all sorts of industries. So yes, I don't like it in the gamer in me because I want to sometimes get this game and play it. But as everything else, oh fucking well, I was too late to the party. Whose fault is that?
Yeah, it is what it is. Then I guess it's all about timing. You either have to be at something, or you miss out. It's that simple.
Yeah, this C Collection, I think that's the one that I purchased. And I had to pay Canadian dollars for that game. And I paid
Holy shit.
17, it came out to be 17 American dollars, but it's the only way that I can get it was through a digital store in Canada, or not a digital store, but an online store in Canada. So, I mean, look, we all go through the struggle, whether it's price point, whether it's availability, whatever the issue is, we all go through it. And the longer that we're alive, the longer we're gaming, the more we're going to come across these issues. But at the same time, is it the developer's responsibility to make sure this game is available for 20 years? I don't think it is. Is it freaking Nike's responsibility to come out with a shoe and keep supporting it for 20, 30 years, even if it only sold a little bit of it? Like, what's the game we were just talking about that you own, Hero?
Oh, the
Uh,
Panzer, the
Panzer.
Panzer Dragoon Saga one.
So
Yeah.
the
But
Panzer,
that,
they only
it's
sold
an
25,000 copies of it. Why would
Exactly,
they
but
keep
it-
making that game?
nah, you know,
You'd think a
was a
94 rated game would have sold a
Yeah.
little better, but the
I
Saturn
know,
didn't do
but
so good.
I was gonna say it's an interesting story behind the game as well, because I mean the prints were limited, to begin with, and it was launched on a system that was doing abysmal against the PS1, right? In
Yeah.
its lifetime, the Saturn only sold 10 million units, right? And at the time, PlayStation was already dominating everything and everyone, right? And at the end, they sold at least 100 million consoles.
Good news,
Cry from where
Ron.
Sega
Once
was with the
again,
Genesis,
All
you
Mother
know?
has brought you
It was nuts.
rabbits.
I mean, that the game even got produced for the amount of time that they sunk into the game. It was an expensive project, though, and it never made its money back. It never made its money back.
Yeah. No, man,
It's wild, though.
it's an unfortunate thing, man. It's like one of those things in our everyday lives, man. It's like, sometimes it's
Yep.
shitty, sometimes it's good. I mean, nobody's talking about all
Yep.
the games that we can get for $5. On
that's
digital
true.
store, we can get for $1.99, $2. Like, we can't
Yep.
just look at one side of things. Gaming can also be very affordable, Now, it's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
anything in life. Sometimes you want the best of the best, and you have to pay for it. It is what it is, man.
Hey, that's where the saying I always say to Nelson, and it's funny you bring that up. I always mention the phrase, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And believe me, I'm not gonna flame people on this one over here, burn them to the cross. But believe me, people on a certain platform, I'm not gonna say which one it is. They'll
Xbox.
find out no, yeah, I'm not gonna mention names, but
I
I'm
mentioned it.
gonna keep it. You mentioned it, but anyway, I'm gonna keep it politically correct. You'll find out the hard way what it means to get what you get. You pay what you get for. You're gonna
Yeah.
find out the hard way.
Yeah.
And especially when GTA 6 shows up, but that's a different conversation for a different time.
And
I'm
I
not gonna
want
bring
to
it up
actually
here.
want to say something real quick before we pass it to Nelson. But guys, I don't hate Xbox. I don't hate Xbox. It's the opposite. I actually want Xbox to succeed. I want them to do a great job. The hate that I
Well-
give them is the same hate that I give PlayStation whenever they won't give me a fucking discount on PS Plus, even though I'm a returning customer. Whenever they fucking the slim plate covers to the PS Pro covers,
I wouldn't
like
call it hate. I'd call it frustration.
frustration.
Yeah, frustration would
And
be
you're
the right
speaking
word, I'd
to-
say.
Me and Tornado both bought a 1X. We're still waiting for fucking something.
I was
something
gonna
with a shit
say,
to play on.
man, hey, that shit still. I bought the damn thing in the holiday 2017. It fucking hurts, man. It fucking hurts. 500 fucking large ones, and these suckers haven't produced anything for the damn system. My God, man.
I bought it, and I'm like, why are there all the best looking games on my Pro and not on my X? My X costs.
I was
more.
gonna
I'm like,
say,
oh yeah,
hey,
because
yo.
PlayStation makes them. Fuck.
God of War, 2018. When I saw that game on PlayStation Pro, I'm like, yo, wow, look at this shit, man. This is fantastic. Spider-Man, same shit. Horizon Zero Dawn, same shit. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell? What's
Other
going
than
on here?
RDR2 on Xbox One X, so it's like all the best
Hey,
looking shit was
and
on
let me
my lesser.
let me
expensive
put it this way: even with RDR2 being the best looking on a series on an Xbox One X, people bought the goddamn game in the majority on a PlayStation. Man, 70% of copies that were sold back then, were on PlayStation.
But we still see those percentages now. We still see that
Right.
PlayStation selling
Exactly.
70, 80%.
So that one X power bullshit, it didn't matter to people. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Capcom pulled their numbers back a couple years ago, but they released them. I'm sure someone said something, but it was like,
Man.
which surprised me. Nintendo
Hey.
had like 3 million some sales. Everyone was between 3 and 4 million, and then you had Xbox 323,000. Like, man, you're like 2% of our. Wait, why are we doing?
Why
this?
are we still doing effort for you guys? If it were Sega, back in the day, even on the Dreamcast, they'd pull support, my guy. Games were canceled. That was the message that I saw in most of the gaming magazines. You can ask Retro. He knows
Hey, the day
exactly what
Street
I'm talking
Fighter
about.
6 came out, I was in lobbies,
Man.
and lobbies would have 100 people into it. There'd be 1 or 2 Xbox, and then damn near 50-50 PC and PlayStation. It's like,
My God. It was absolutely wild. I've seen so many times the word cancellation, man. You can ask Retro. He knows as a Sega fan as well. I've seen it in so many fucking magazines about so many games. It pissed me the fuck off, man. Swear to God.
Yeah, no, I mean look, man, I'm a first time Xbox owner, the Series X. And I look, I like the console. The console to me, I like how it looks. I like how it plays. I don't like the controller, but that's just because I've been playing
The
PlayStation my
UI
whole
is
life.
garbage
The
too.
Yeah.
UI is extremely garbage.
God, I was on it yesterday. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like fucking ass cancer.
Yes, it's really hard to navigate, and people try to say, well, people game
Oh
on there,
man.
the UI doesn't matter.
It
No,
takes up 3 times the memory as the PS5 too.
it does. It's to me the Wi-Fi is slower, but I just wish
It's
that
fucking slow. It's slow as shit.
they just did better. I wish they did better. I wish they came out games. Look, games do the talking. The
Hey,
the better your games
they were
are.
not bad, eh? And to the defense of Xbox, I used to have an OG Xbox. I had a 360, right? And I skipped out on the Xbox One, and I did buy an X1 X, but that was the last Xbox that I ever bought. But to be honest with you, it isn't a bad brand though. It has to do with management, man. And I'm looking at Phil Spencer. Eh?
Oh, of course.
That sucker takes $10 million fucking dollars a year, eh? That's without bonuses. Sitting there and you're saying in an XCast interview, I'm getting way too much money paid for the job that I'm doing. Hey, when you say that kind of shit, you rub people in the wrong way, eh? And especially on top of that, saying like Starfield will not sell consoles, even if it's an 11 out of 10, people will not sell their PS5. Hey, you're pissing people off, knowing the fact that you're making $10 million a year, dude. That don't fly, eh?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that don't fly. My God. These years, all that we wanted and it's a simple question I always say from a gamer perspective. We just want good, compelling games with some good storylines, or at least a good, compelling game-playing game, the type of games that you saw in the 90s and even before the 2000s, something with a good shooting mechanic, a small little story, but make it fun, just like Helldivers, just like I'm going back into the 90s on PC, Black and White, that game from Peter Molyneux, that was a fun game. Messiah, Shiny Entertainment back in the day, just like MDK. Sega had their shining moments, with the games that they had, like the American Pro Trucker game. I think it had a Dreamcast release. What else did they have? Man, you know the type of games that I'm trying to say. And it's just so few and far in between, man. It is just nuts. What happened,
Yeah.
I don't get it,
It's
man.
unacceptable. It's really shitty. It's just it's bad for the gamers. It's bad for the gaming industry. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's because of Xbox. PlayStation has been acting fucking a little shitty lately. I'm not gonna say that because of at all. But I'm also gonna say that it doesn't help it, or it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't help it. It doesn't help the fact that Xbox is doing poorly. It does not help. I'm not gonna say it makes it
when
worse,
PlayStation
but
was losing money, fucking Xbox was for your live. It was like $50 a year 15 years ago. No discounts, no games, no nothing. You had to pay to just use Netflix. Fucking $200 for a DVD player attached.
yes.
Oh, free to play games.
Facts.
That shit ain't free to play, bitch. Not on here.
Yeah, no, and people were talking shit about the PlayStation Plus games for the month. They're saying, "Oh man, well these are shitty games. It Takes Two." I'm like, it's a Game of the Year nomination. What are you talking about, shitty game? They're
What
like,
the fuck?
no.
Yeah, one game of the year.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
are
but
you crazy? But
Yeah, but there's the problem. Eh? It might be Game of the Year, and I'm saying this from my personal perspective, but it wasn't a game for me, though, to be honest with you. I like the idea
Well,
of
they're not
It
all
Takes
gonna
Two.
be for you.
yeah, they're all not gonna.
I know. It's not going to be
And
for
I
me,
own the game. I own the game on
It-
PlayStation and the Switch.
yeah, okay. So it's a novel idea, but I'm like, nah, it's not something that I see myself playing. But that's just from a me perspective, I'm saying
Okay,
that. Eh?
but you got they put in good games. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And they can't
Exactly.
fucking
They
dictate
can't
for every person.
I was going to say they can't appease to everyone, right? They
Yes.
can't please everyone. That's impossible. So
Damn.
if there's a game in there, I'll say it like, okay, if it's a good game and it's a fun and fantastic game that I add, you'll hear it from me. But if it's something that I'm like, it's just bad, I'm just going to say it. Simple as.
Yeah, no, I mean, a game doesn't have to be for you for
yeah,
you to
that's a
be able
preference,
to
really.
admit that it's a good game. I mean, It Takes Two may not be for some people, but it's a good game.
It's a good
You
game.
know,
I can give
um,
her that.
yeah, it's just not. It may not be for you. It may not. I mean, there's other games on there. There's games every month that are not for me, but I can be like, okay, this game just came out a few months ago. It's still worth $60, $70, and it's on PS Plus or basic free to you. So I mean, PlayStation at least is. There's never been a month where PlayStation has put out 3 or 4 games that are you know, shitty old ass games that you can buy for $1. It's never been that way, at least since I've been paying attention to it, the last 5 years in specific. It's never been that way. They've always given you something that is still selling for a good amount of money, and that's monthly, y'all. Mind you, a
Hmm.
year of PlayStation Plus Basic is $80. It used to be 60, but $80. And if you
Yeah,
buy it on sale, you're paying 40, what is it, 45, $50 for it? Like,
something like that.
where else can you get 3 free games as long as you keep paying for PlayStation Basic every single month or 4 and every single month without fail?
Until
Something indeed
PlayStation
for
started giving
anyone.
PlayStation Plus, you used to not get discounts or games. You just paid the 50 a month on 360, and that's all you get.
Yeah,
That's like $80 now, and $90. You didn't
Hmm.
get none of that shit. They started doing it when PlayStation started doing it.
yeah, no,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
So,
true though.
All right, what's the next topic, Nelson?
oh shit. I keep looking shit up.
Shuhei
Shoe?
Yoshida, we got a vow,
Actually, I'll
and the
save shoe for a
joystick.
different day.
Okay,
Let's
okay,
talk
shoe
about
for
the
a different
joystick
day.
awards. Let's talk about that real quick because the joystick awards just happened. What was it, last week?
Oh, yeah, that was I think last week indeed. Yeah, I
Last
did
week.
post it. I just posted in the Discord who actually won the awards and whatnot. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was a big winner, but Wukong was a big winner indeed. They won the award for Game of the Year on the Golden Joysticks. Final Fantasy, a few of them, and best ongoing game went to Helldivers 2. So that was an interesting one from the
So
Golden Joysticks
let's
perspective. Eh?
let's
I'm
let's
not gonna
look
lie,
at
I don't really
the
get that one because it's its first year out, but whatever.
let's look at the joystick awards video game of the year nominations. Let's look at
Hmm.
those and let me look that up real quick. Because there is a good question that I wanted to bring up.
Hmm. The nominees, and I've always been questioning them for the last couple of years since I'd say 2019 up to now. But this one I find questionable. But that's maybe
So
from my perspective.
so with this one they had Animal Well, Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Call of
Hmm.
Duty Black Ops 6, Dragon Age The Veilguard, Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII Rebirth, Helldivers 2, Metaphor Refantasio, which FYI, y'all, like I said on the last Just Playing live stream, if I got my bonus check on Wednesday, I would have bought it because it was on sale for $50. I ended up buying it. So I'll definitely give a review on that one. And then Satisfactory. So we have one, two, three,
Hmm.
four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. We have 10 games that were up for the Joystick Video Game of the Year nomination.
Yeah.
Who won? It was uh Helldivers won, right? No, I'm sorry. Who won the game of the
Wukong
year?
was
Oh, Wukong
Wukong
won.
was the one.
Wukong.
Yeah, Wukong
Yes.
was the one that won that. That I'd say that was the most important one you could say.
So
And there were
for
other games that were also in the prizes, but that one was the big one, right?
yeah, that was the big one. So for Jeff
Yeah.
Keighley's game of the year
That's going to be an
nominations,
interesting one.
we have Astrobot, Balatro,
Yeah.
Black Myth Wukong, Final Fantasy
Mhm.
VII Rebirth, Metaphor Fantasio, and a DLC. So there's 6 versus
Yeah.
4. So look at this comparison between the two, y'all. And FYI, Elden Ring DLC
It
won
had its day
DLC
in
of the
sun.
year.
It's nuts, man. It had its time in the sun.
Yes.
Let other games get the spotlight. It
Yes.
had its time. It is
So,
that simple.
For the
Come
Joystick
on, man.
Awards, it got its shine. It won in the category it was supposed to. If I was to vote in that one, which by the way, the Joystick Awards, the gamer is who votes. It's not like the Video Game Awards where we only account for 10%, which means that we don't account at
Yeah.
all.
Which
It
is
won.
nuts.
And congratulations to the DLC for winning DLC of the year. Absolutely. So if I would have been able to vote for that, I would have voted for Elden Ring as DLC of the year, even though I hate Souls games, even though I haven't played Elden Ring except for a couple hours, and even though I haven't played the DLC because I can't, obviously, you need to be X amount, of Elden Ring,
You have
percentage
to complete
in
the
and
base game before you
all
can get
that.
your teeth
Exactly.
into the DLC.
But as
Otherwise, you're not going to be
somebody,
able to play it.
exactly. So as somebody who hasn't played the game, hasn't played the DLC, none of that crap, as an outsider looking in, but still aware of gaming and know of gaming, I can say, based on review, based on what my friends have told me, based on how much is sold, based on the trailers, and based on the gameplays that I've seen on YouTube, I can definitely say that DLC is DLC of the year, hands down. I can say that, and I haven't even fucking played it because I'm able to take all the information provided to me and come up with a conclusion on the game. 80 hours to beat that DLC, just that alone on a game that's halfway decent, already, in my opinion, deserves DLC of the year. But it won the category that it was supposed to be in. It does not belong in the Video Game Awards Game of the Year nomination. So now, speaking of both, right? We have the Video Game Awards and we have the Joystick Awards.
Yeah.
What was the question you said to us on Discord, Tornado?
The question that I had, I did
About
post
the
it in there,
advertising and what was that?
I forgot what I
because
said. I did
Hero-
post it in here.
Or Tornado did bring up a good point. Or was it Nelson? I forget who it was. So between the two, we have one that gets no shine. We only hear about it because of social media.
Balatro is the game that I did never even heard of until the awards. So, for instance, to give you an example, the Balatro game is something that I'm like, wait a minute, it's nice for the indie developer, eh? Don't get me wrong, eh? But I'm like, wait a minute, why am I hearing now of your game? Instead, I should have been hearing of your game months ago. That's my issue that I have, Balatro. Because if it were such a great game, how come I only hear from you now in this award show?
Well,
all of a sudden.
I just played Balatro. I bought it on Black Friday sale because it was nominated, so it did what it was supposed to, and I played it. But the two Video Game Awards, and we hear a lot of it when all the developers got nominated. They're out here sharing and posting, like, hey, we got nominated, and oh, hey, we won. But that's how we hear about it. So the Video Game Awards, is that a money grabbing award or award ceremony or award show, or is Jeff Keighley really caring about the video game industry?
It's not the latter, though. Unfortunately, I was gonna say it's all about the money. This has nothing to do with gaming at this point. Like I said, if I'm seeing games that are being pushed all of a sudden because from a marketing perspective, like I said, I've never heard of Balatro until this. As a gamer and watching the news and stuff, I never heard of the goddamn game.
I will say this, Balatro is a million times more deserving to be on that nomination list than a DLC.
Yeah, okay. That I can give you, for sure. I'll 100% agree with you on that one. Because Elden Ring, like I said, it had its time in the sun, man. That shouldn't even be there. No offense to the people no offense to the people that play it, though, but that shouldn't even be there, man. This is nuts.
It already won.
It already won. Oh my!
So that's what we're gonna do from now on. Hey, you won Game of the Year. Let's come out with a DLC so we can win Game of the Year again, and let's come out with another DLC, and we'll do that for 5 times in a row. So now you have Game of the Year. Now they only got to put in,
Game of the Year DLC.
Yeah,
Game of the DLC, or whatever you want. It's
fuck.
Man, this is nuts, man.
Jeff Keighley with that nomination is ridiculous. Yes, Balatro. And the people who pick these nominations, FYI, if you guys, because we talk about journalists all the fucking time on this podcast.
Yeah, I saw the list. It's
these people, it just shows you what they're into as far as gaming goes. They're fucking mobile gamers. They are casual gamers. They are activists. They don't
definitely.
They're not out here playing games.
Why am I saying that? Because I'm missing one game on that list from an action perspective. Like Devil May Cry, I'll use as an example, and Ninja Gaiden. I'm not seeing Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade,
action game category, because that was a game that's supposed to be there. Silent Hill,
Space Marine.
Exactly, Space Marine 2. Those are the games that's. And I'm like, what the hell happened? Like I said, pure unadulterating fun, man. Those games should be there, and not seeing those there, it's nuts, man.
I'm honestly
Like it,
surprised that Wukong was even in there because
I'm
these
surprised. But
activists.
Wukong is something that you couldn't ignore. I mean, the game sold 20 plus million copies.
Well, it's the
A
same
lot of people
thing.
around the world
Remember,
were
it's the same
playing
thing that
that, you know.
happened last year to Hogwarts. Hogwarts had like 20 some million as well sold,
And that one was snubbed.
and that was
One
snubbed.
didn't even make it. Yeah, I'm surprised Wukong even made it on the list.
You know, I much rather fucking Jeff Keighley just do it himself. Forget these other fucking journalists, over 100 of them. Just do it your fucking
Yeah,
self, bro. Just sit there, pick your top 5 or top 6 or top 10
yeah.
of each category, and just do it
And
that
let
way.
people let people vote. You know,
And let people know.
that's how you
But
should do it. Yeah.
I'm gonna start watching the Joystick Awards. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I heard the name before. I know that they were a video game, award show, but I never paid
Yep.
much attention. But this was the final straw for me with the not saying I'm gonna stop watching the video game awards because of course they have some great announcements and stuff like that, which is what Jeff is good at, is getting these announcements. But unlike some people, I actually love award shows. I like watching everything from, because I think people deserve their standing ovation for creating something that's wonderful. Even Balatro, even though that I played it, I don't like it, it's not my type of game, I can still admire a developer coming up with a game, a new idea, something that we've never seen before, except for Solitaire. But and I'm shitting. The game is like
Oh
Texas
man,
Hold. It's like Texas Hold'em, except that you
I was
don't.
gonna say
It's different, but
it.
I
It
appreciate watching these guys going up there, giving their speech, giving shout outs to their team and
yeah,
to their
but
family and God and whatever they just they stay
I
up
know,
there.
I know, I know. But my and like I already mentioned, and I'm sounding like a broken record. For me, it's painful to see that games like Stellar Blade or Space Marine, they should have been there. In all fairness, those were the games that were, like I said, pure, unadulterating fun. That is, yeah. In my opinion, they got snubbed. But that's just from my perspective. I'm saying that
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh man, yeah. Well,
absolutely
hopefully we'll
nuts.
see. I don't know if Jeff is gonna take into account what he has been hearing from people, but we'll see if it changes. But as of next year, I'm definitely gonna be watching the Joystick Awards. I'm gonna figure out when, where, how, and if I gotta pay a subscription somewhere to be able to watch it, that's what I will do. If I gotta pay
Hmm.
buy an app or something or whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna watch it. If I'm technologically advanced enough in my household to be able to stream it, I will. I've also wanted to stream the video game awards that are happening in December. If anybody's interested, I do have a
Hmm.
PC, so I might be able to do it that way. But yeah, I'm excited for these award show. It's just very disappointing this year with Jeff and the DLC, most of all. Balatro's a little bit disappointing, but once again, that's a taste thing, right? You can either like it or hate it or love it. Everybody not everybody, but a lot of people that's played it love it. Not me. I'd rather be playing an actual video game like fucking Horizon or Space Marine or anything like that. But hey, I can see it being nominated, even though I don't think it deserves it. But the DLC, get the fuck out of here. That's just disrespectful. And then the last thing that we want to talk about before we wrap this little thing up that we call the State of Gaming podcast is
Hmm.
Avowed. Avowed, y'all.
Oh man, do we get to
Avowed.
talk? Do we get to talk about woke stuff as well
We
in a
get
little way?
Tornado. This is a State of Game podcast. There's no fucking filters here. There's no censorship.
All
We say
right. Then
whatever
my
the
man,
fuck we want to talk
my
about.
man, my man, because Avowed is just a taste and I'd say a tip of the iceberg of and the part of the problems that are in gaming these days, man. It's see, it's one thing to push an agenda, but if you have to do that in the content that people enjoy and love, and the majority of those people that buy them are men, hey, man, like I said, you're doing stuff that people like, and it's also for women as well. Women notice that shit too, eh? It's
Bro,
not just men, eh? Women
bro,
see that too, and they're like,
let
"What the
me
hell
tell
is
you
this?
this. Let me tell you this for those of you guys
This
that
is nuts."
for those of you guys that are ready to say call us a slur or whatever for saying what we're saying. The last 6 months or since Stellar Blade, so longer than 6 months, every single YouTube video, every single article, every single bit of information that I can read or watch in regards to woke shit or women, body shapes that have to do in gaming. Every single one, I've been paying extra close attention. Who is commenting what? And the reason I
Yep.
wanted to do this is because when I was a kid, finding a girl gamer was like a unicorn. You didn't really see it. They were out there, but it wasn't something that you kind of saw on a regular basis. If you were at school and you found out one of your girl classmates played video games, you were like in love already, right? Because she liked something you like. But it was like, wow,
It
like
was unique.
it was Santa
It was
Claus, right?
unique.
In today's world, not so much with the internet. I mean, fuck, we got Tornado here all the way from Holland. Like that's crazy to me, y'all. But with today's
Yep.
world, we are way more connected and we see way more people share more of themselves. And we see that there's a lot of women gamers, and that's awesome. Anybody who can game should game. That's why I'm a huge fan with accessibility and being able to give people
Yep.
that are blind, deaf, maybe are missing fingers or an arm, the option of gaming. Like I love that. That is amazing to me because I use accessibility features as well. I use subtitles. I change button layout sometimes because sometimes my thumb hurts. I don't have arthritis, but my joints are a little sore from being in the military. So there are some things that because of accessibility, it makes it easier for me, and I appreciate that, right? So this isn't what I'm talking about. I'm not shunning none of that. I think we need more of that. We need more of the colorblind stuff. We just need to make it able so more people can game. That
Yep.
being said,
Facts.
when I've been watching these interviews, reviews, whatever on YouTube, looking up articles, I've been paying attention to who is commenting what. And I wasn't shocked. I was not shocked at all, but I actually had visible proof there. And so many women are commenting under these videos, and specifically the Stellar Blaze situation when people were saying that this isn't real women's bodies or anything like that. I saw so many women talking about how Eve was hot, how Eve had their body type, how they wanted to play as somebody like Eve. So what these people
Yep.
are doing is they're completely shooing all
Hey,
these women away just to
and
prove a
mind,
point.
and mind you, they put out a tweet of the actress that is actually playing the body of Eve.
Yes. Yes. They actually have
So
a
people
body
could see
scan.
the actual scan of the woman that is playing her, folks. I'm just saying the face is different, but it's her body type that you're seeing, folks.
Yep.
The same body type that she has in real life.
Yep. They even put I saw in-depth view of that, and I don't know if you guys have seen this one, where they actually measured her bra size, they measured her bust, and were able to put it in the game. So the exact same bust size that you see Stellar Blade having is the exact same that the model had. They even made a special bra for her in order to make the bust look how they wanted it to look in the game. So based on her body shape exactly is how they made Stellar Blade to be. But women are also sick and tired of this shit. RPG just told me last week that his girlfriend also said Eve is hot. My sister, who was here playing the game, and I asked her specifically, what do you think of this character? She said, well, she is a little bit sexy, but yeah, she's hot. I like it. I would play this game. And she's not a gamer. Her only complaint was that, yeah, it's a little too sexy, but it was a specific outfit I was wearing. But besides that, she didn't give a shit. And being too sexy wasn't a problem. Her issue was she didn't want her daughter playing it. Well, guess what? Stellar Blade is rated M. My niece, who is 11, can't play the damn game any fucking ways. So it's that topic is irrelevant. I just got carded at GameStop for buying Dead Rising. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. It's a rated M game. So if I get carded, guess what? You get carded too. You have to be over 17 years old. But Avowed, what surprised me about Avowed is that it's actually been getting good preview reactions. People that have been playing the game, they got to play a certain section, and people are actually enjoying
Well,
it.
yeah. Do you know how they hire reviewers too?
Oh yeah, we know that, but they're not hiring everybody. And we had somebody like SkillUp, for example. SkillUp shitted on Stalker. Well, he didn't shit on it. He just said this is terrible. It works. It doesn't work. Don't buy this. He also shit on what's the racing game that they had?
Racing
Forza. He shitted on Forza. So SkillUp has been even keel with them, and he said he liked it. which surprised me because he shit on Valgar too, Dragon Age. He shit on them. He said that the game was, basically not that good, trash. So I've been watching his reviews recently because I feel like he's been on same par as me as far as my reviewing games or how I view games. I'm not saying all the time, of course. There's been times where he's what game was it? I forgot which one, but he's like, yeah, this game is not good. I'm like, you fucking crazy. This game is awesome. But he said he liked it. A couple other guys that are not known to be Xbox guys that also got to play it, they've enjoyed it. So that's the trippy thing about this is that we all seen what's happening with Avowed. We all seen the art director and how fucking racist he is. I can't fucking believe Microsoft let him fucking pop off on Instagram or Twitter like that. Now he's gone
That's
off
how
Twitter.
they hire most of those people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anything else you guys got to say about Avowed?
Well, I do think that the game is in trouble. And what I'm seeing, I'm like, man, it's the same problem that they had with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Trying to push a message that nobody asked for, man. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And I'm surprised that the Dragon Age game sold 1 million copies, though. But I have a feeling that a lot of those million copies were refunded, though.
I bet you they were planning on selling 5 in that month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Dragon
I believe
Age is
it.
a big franchise.
I believe it because this game they've been working on for what 7 years or something like that, 8 years.
Oh yeah.
10.
Oh yeah, 10. You're right, 10 years. EA is EA. They have high expectations of their games, and we've seen them shelf numerous games just because they thought that it wouldn't sell what they wanted to. Not because it wasn't going to, because they didn't even get the chance to see it in motion, just because they thought it wouldn't sell a fraction of what they wanted. So we know that EA has no problem with canceling a game, even if they're almost done with it. So, we'll see. I think that these publishers some of them are going to start to wake up and demand that these games don't have the woke shit in it anymore, because at the end of the day, money talks.
Yeah. And bullshit walks.
Absolutely. So we will see. It's going to be interesting.
They're hiring people for that, and they only hire people like them. It's like, man, remember when these people used to work on these games, but they thought about something else other than, you know what I mean? Like, gay people and all that stuff have been working on games forever, but it's like, it's all they think about now. Like, you're gonna, you know what I mean? It's like they're trying to do it on purpose.
Well, they do it on purpose. Well, remember, Nelson,
they're in there to spread a message, not to create a game. Like,
remember, Xbox it's not known for making good decisions. I mean, they said no to the KOTOR remake. They said no to Spider-Man. They just make terrible decisions.
I'm going to correct you. They said basically that's even worse. They said no to Spider-Man, but basically to the whole of Marvel. They had them at their doorstep as the first one.
Yeah. The whole of Marvel. You're absolutely right.
I'm sorry to correct you on that one.
You're
Marvel,
good. You're good.
They turned them down. My God.
So the point is, they just are known for making terrible decisions. So I think that this is just another terrible decision from them. They think that this is the way to go, but in reality, it's not. And once again, we will see, because they're gonna promote the shit out of
California, so they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
PlayStation's doubling down on it. Most of their studios are in California. Good luck. Government gonna be all over your ass.
It's just the West in general. I mean, as long as we continue to have people like Focus and others in the industry who just are making the games I want to play right now, the West is gonna soon realize that they picked the wrong side of the coin, and hopefully they start to making adjustments. But yeah, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Nelson, anything else you got for the people?
We're not going to talk about Shu at all?
No, I'll bring it up for another day. We're going on 2 hours.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. We'll
Tornado
save it for another day.
Anything you got to tell the people?
I'd say last message that I'm going to leave people with, and play something that you actually like, instead of what's being forced down your throat. But that's my final message that I have, and keep it real, keep it gaming.
Yeah, look for reasons to play a game. Stop looking for reasons not to play a game.
Exactly.
All right, y'all. Well, that's all we got for y'all today. Stay tuned. We have the Just Playing live stream on Tuesday. Nelson, do you want to do another one on Sunday?
No, what are we going to talk about from now to Sunday?
We'll let you guys know. I mean, I may pop in because I know Brett wanted to hop in and he's working today because we switched it. So I might have him on the bot of the year, and just shoot the shit, or I might stream something. What we should play is Helldivers.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've been waiting
That's a
on you to
fantastic
play
game, man.
Helldivers. Fucking love Helldivers, and I've been itching to play it even more lately. But yeah, so stay tuned, y'all. More videos will be coming out soon. I got my collection video part 8 or 9 coming out on Saturday, so check for that. Otherwise, thank you so much, Tornado, for making it through.
Yes,
I know
yes.
that it's 10 o'clock
Welcome,
your
welcome.
time. It's the weekend
Oh,
for
it's
you.
Okay, it's okay.
Happy birthday. Your birthday's tomorrow, but happy birthday.
Yeah. Thank you,
And
thank you.
yeah, thank you, man. Otherwise, we will catch you guys in the next one. Keep it gaming,
Alright.
y'all.
Damn right.